Hey, what's up? It's the ManFUzed Podcast. I am Kay Lee, audio producer, voice artist, host, and my co-host, Ben H., real estate broker, sitting right next to me. Another tragedy that happened. Alec Baldwin, an executive producer and actor starring in this Western movie, Rust, gotten himself into some hot water. And when I brought this up, Ben, you had a different perspective than what I saw. I saw a very tragic accident, an accident that never should have happened. And if you don't know and you're living under a rock, in 2021, Halyna Hutchins was the victim of an accident. Alec Baldwin pulled the trigger on what should have been a prop gun that was handed to him and controlled by an armorer. When you are on a movie set, there is an armorer that is hired with the sole purpose of making sure every round, every prop gun, every real gun, whatever is being used on set is locked away and everything is triple checked and in responsibility of that armorer. Apparently, there were reports of a lot of standard protocol was being broken on that set.
Right.
Things were happening and being handled very loosely.
Yes.
I think the armorer, who has now been charged with manslaughter, along with Alec Baldwin, this was her first time being the head armorer on a movie set. I think she had been an assistant, but this was the first time that she was hired to lead the way.
Yeah.
And there were reports and I think even some filings made to whoever, insurance or whatever, saying that things were not being handled to the serious protocol as they should be. Halyna Hutchins was the victim of a gunshot wound by a trigger pull by Alec Baldwin. Now, Alec Baldwin, after the event, which is tragic, the only time that I could ever remember this even happening was to Brandon Lee. On the set of a movie, there should have been a blank in the gun, but there was a live round. Why was a live round even on set? There shouldn't have been a live round anywhere close to any one of those guns.
Right.
So how was it that a live round made it into the gun that killed Halyna Hutchins? Now, Alec Baldwin...
Not by accident.
So you say.
Well, I mean, dude, guns don't load themselves.
Obviously.
And why would there even be live rounds on a movie set?
Don't know. And that's what Alec Baldwin, who has acted in how many movies? His IMDb page is long. He is an actor that has been probably hundreds of movies.
Yeah.
If you have acted that many times, not every time you're handling a gun, but he has handled one countless amounts of times.
Right.
And if I was a seasoned actor and an armorer hands me a pistol, yes, some actors came out and said that they double check it, even though the armorer has already checked it.
Right.
But I know there are actors who don't because they trust that the man in charge of that one thing is doing their job.
Maybe. I don't know how it works in Hollywood, but the way it works in the real world is it doesn't matter who had the gun before you. It's your responsibility to inspect the gun and make sure that the weapon that you're holding, number one, is or is not loaded. Number two, is or is not off safety. Number three, is or is not cocked. Every person who picks up a gun has the individual responsibility now of that gun. It shouldn't matter who the fuck had it before you. In this case, I understand the case that they're making. Personally, I disagree with it. I don't see how the fuck an actor even points first of all, it's a revolver. A revolver is pretty easy to see what it's got in it. Two, why would it have real bullets in it?
Could you tell a dummy round versus a live round?
If you opened it up and looked at the rounds, you could.
Okay.
Which maybe I'm different. So there's that aspect. Then there's the aspect of this was a movie. It was a scene where you're supposed to be shooting someone in the movie.
His claim was that she asked him to get the camera footage, lens dead on to the gun, a close-up, the barrel or whatever.
But she didn't support that claim. Oh, why?
Well, she's dead.
She's dead.
Well, right. It's a he say, she say, and she can't say.
And she can't say anything. All we know is that he pointed the gun directly at her.
Or at the camera.
Live.
And she's behind the camera.
So it was her. Again, we're talking about gun responsibility. This is a real gun. It's not a cap gun.
But if in the scene it requires that
Yeah.
there's a close-up on
Sure.
the gun and you're to pull the trigger, granted, a lot of these effects can be handled post-production.
Right.
But
It's better if it looks real, sounds
right.
real, all those kinds
I
of
mean,
things.
you see Keanu Reeves, who is a gun badass, and he is a badass
Yeah.
in martial arts, in firing, shooting, weapons training.
Right.
And you see him in John Wick. He is headshot, can reload fast as hell. He is skilled.
I mean, Alec Baldwin is one of these far left people. Halyna Hutchinson was actually a moderately right side person. Alec Baldwin has said really, really nasty things about people who not getting vaccinated, about people not wearing their masks. He's been very, very outspoken against, vehemently against. And I'm not saying that's a reason to kill somebody, but I think there's a lot more going on there. I hope he didn't mean to kill her. I think that's horrible.
That's something he's
I
got to
just
live
think
with.
there's a hell of a lot of fucking coincidences stacking up here. And when I see coincidences stack up like that, I mean, yeah, there's Murphy's Law.
There is something to be said about too many coincidences.
Too many coincidences
Just
here.
like 9/11.
Right.
Like, too many coincidences.
Too many coincidences. Absolutely. And
eventually, the trail starts leading to something.
now he's getting charged with manslaughter, which he will likely get reduced to something. And hopefully he didn't mean to kill her and it was a tragic accident as he described it. However, if it was intentional, if there was something going on, if she did have dirt on him that he was afraid of, then, and this was a plan, well, up to this point, it's worked pretty fucking well.
I see it as far-fetched. I'm
Yeah.
not saying it's out of the realm of possibility.
It's definitely ballsy.
Now, Alec Baldwin, if you go back to the voice message, Kim Basinger being his, at one time, very hot ex-wife, do you remember the voicemail Alec Baldwin left?
I don't remember it.
Cussing out Kim and his daughter, calling his daughter a little pig.
Oh, wow.
It's something that has come back to haunt him for years about how aggressive and short-tempered. Got a short fuse. He'll blow up. He's been known to blow up on the media, the press, paparazzi.
All these guys, all these people in Hollywood, less and less and less and less I give a fuck about what they think, what they say. I regard them as bought. I regard them as bought and sold people. I think their opinions are bought and sold. I think they are bought and fucking sold up the river.
They're sucking Hollywood's dick.
This whole idea of them being thought leaders and all this kind of thing.
No, they have a following because people like the movie they were in.
Yeah.
And so that's why people will listen to them. And the media in Hollywood knows that.
Yes.
And they'll
hey,
get him in another movie.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Alec Baldwin, bro.
So am I.
like Alec
I've
Baldwin.
always liked his
As
movies.
an actor, I've always liked all of Alec Baldwin's movies. I mean, he's a fantastic actor. I want to see his movies. I don't want to hear his bullshit. And this is something that with Hollywood, with Kim Kardashian and like Kanye West and like all these people, it's like, bro, just stay in your fucking lane.
Make another
great
album.
fucking music for us. Please.
Right.
Make a great movie.
I don't
bro.
want to hear your thoughts on global
I don't
warming.
need it. Yeah, like I don't need it. Look, I'm trying to use everything I have in this life to get to a certain point. And what you're doing is you're sitting there echoing what the mainstream narrative is. And that shows me that you're fucking bought and sold. You're against the people. You're with the elite. I'm out on it. I'm just out on that shit. I completely am. It is rare that you see a Hollywood movie star stand up in an adverse way to the mainstream narrative.
It's true.
And I'm not saying the mainstream narrative is all bullshit, but it's mostly bullshit.
It's a spun tale that they want everybody to bite.
Exactly. And most of them just go right along with it and cruise right through the thing. And it's a part of it. An interesting thing is back in the medieval days, there was wizards, basically. There were people regarded as wizards, like sorcerers and stuff like that. You remember in all of the, I'm talking like ancient Europe, castles and all that kind of stuff, and they had the magic wands and the crystal balls and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah, they were witches.
Right. And so they had these people, and they would go and they would consult these people. I mean,
before they were stoning them to death?
Yes, these were the black magic people and the people who would predict things and are said to have been magical or whatever. The witches, just like you're saying. Do you know that their magic wands were made of wood? And they were made of wood from a holly tree.
A wood wand.
A holly tree from Hollywood.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying? So there's a whole idea of Hollywood being the front for the narrative of Hollywood itself, these movies and everything that is created to distract us and to distract our attention away from what's happening in the world, to, quote, entertain us, right? To entertain us. Hollywood. It's a farce. All these movies, none of them are fucking real. It's bullshit. You're acting.
Right.
You're fucking acting. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, thanks for listening to the ManFUzed Podcast. Share the show on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your favorite podcasts. You can join the show by hitting us up at ManFUzed.com or call us at 770-744-5227. Text or voicemails are welcome, and support the show by maybe checking out some of our ManFUzed gear. See ya!